Today, the question is, what are you going to do about immigration? You can call and have your say, 03459 570057. Our next candidate this morning is representing the Green Party in Mid-Sussex, Miranda Diboll. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for your time today. And could you start with a 30-second manifesto on what you do about immigration? If you'd like to start now, that'd be terrific. Thank you very much.
Right. Green Party like to look to the medium and long term. We need to tackle the causes of immigration. We see it as war, climate change and inequality. These are the three main reasons that we're seeing immigration on the scale we're seeing today. That's what we need to do first of all, tackle those long-term problems. Okay, and also work with the EU as well on our obligations of freedom of movement, abolish the £17,000 minimum income because we believe it discriminates against poor immigrants, and nobody should be given priority just because they're rich.
Okay, so in a way, would you reverse some of the controls that are in place now?
We would make them fairer. We think they're discriminatory. For instance, why can someone come into this country just because they have a lot of money? Simply on that basis. It should be a lot fairer, a lot less discriminatory, where people come from, their circumstances. We're talking about people fleeing desperate situations, taking huge risks. We need to take it on the basis of, their backgrounds.
But
really.
Is there not a difference between helping those people in desperate need and obviously respecting their human rights versus having an open door policy and seeing net migration rise?
We would never agree to a complete open door policy. It'd just be impossible. We want to work with other EU countries on freedom of movement and making sure it's fair. But as a party, we look for the long term. We're looking towards why we're seeing this problem in the first place, and we really believe it's to do with things like foreign policy. We need to reduce the amount of war. We need to discourage repressive regimes and political repression and why people are fleeing these countries in the first place.
What would you do about the freedom of movement within the EU, though? Because people are coming here out of choice, not out of desperation necessarily.
We need to work with other European countries. In the Green Party, we're very much committed to working together on all kinds of issues, including climate change, of course, which is one of our main ones. But on immigration, definitely, we need to get together, work together on this situation and see what works best for all of us in the EU.
You've heard some of the comments that people have said to us this morning. It's a really important issue, and for those people who don't want to see numbers rise and to want to clamp down, how are you going to persuade them to come to you, Miranda?
I think the issue of immigration, it's a bit of a red herring. I think it's been blown up. I think it's a distraction from the big issue that we're seeing in this country, which is inequality and austerity. I think people's attention is being turned to immigration, and people are being scapegoated. It's a divide and rule tactic. And I think, for us in the Green Party, we're focusing people's minds on the real issues why we're seeing inequality, why we have a big rich-poor divide that's getting bigger, and that's to do with austerity, not to do with immigrants. Immigrants did not cause the financial crisis of 2008, after all.
And what are people saying to you when you go out in and around Mid-Sussex, Haywards Heath and Burgess Hill? What are people saying to you about immigration? Is that a hot talking topic for them?
I wouldn't say it's a very hot topic.
It's funny because all our reporters said it was the number one thing people spoke to them about.
I think coming from the Green Party, when people talk to me, they know I'm a Green, they tend to want to talk about other issues a little bit more, maybe the perception that as a party, we're not concerned about immigration. It tends to be other things to do with employment planning. But yeah, eventually people do come around to talking about immigration now and again, saying that this is the reason why they're struggling to get a full-time, decent, secure income or housing. So it does feed into it in conversations, yeah.
Just give me a view on this. Would you, as a Green Party, deport immigrants already here, ones who've committed serious crimes or are here illegally? What would you do about them?
You'd have to take it on a case-by-case basis. I certainly couldn't give you a blanket answer to that.
Okay, and what do you think the impact of immigration has been in Mid-Sussex, where you live?
I personally think immigration is a positive thing. I think there's too much of a negative spin. Immigration in the NHS, for example, a lot of our doctors and nurses are trained abroad and have come over here. It's a little sad that they have had to come over here to work and leave their own countries that desperately need their own medical staff, but they've played an important role in the NHS, in the hospitals around Mid-Sussex.
Miranda, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. Miranda Diboll, the Green Party candidate for Mid-Sussex.